What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And before we get into this Eagles recap over their loss against the Kansas City Chiefs, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscriber button because we are getting really close to the 400 subscriber count. So if you're brand new to this channel, make sure you hit that button. If you're a current subscriber, definitely recommend it to other people. Share it, whatever you can do. I'll greatly appreciate that. Let's try to grow this channel together, get to that 400 subscriber count, and just keep the channel growing and growing from there. I appreciate everything and the people that have been subscribed to this channel for this long. And let's just continue to build that relationship. So I thank you for everyone for that. So let's get into the topic at hand. The Philadelphia Eagles, they lose this game. They're now 1-3 on the season after falling to the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 42-30. And the major takeaway I would, take away from this game is penalties. So many penalties, and a bunch of crucial penalties that took away a lot of plays during this game, which prevented a lot of Eagles scores and also helped the Chiefs on a lot of their drives. Because the Chiefs, they had a lot of third down situations in this game. They converted on most of those third downs, and some of those were helped to the Eagles taking, encroachment penalties, illegal men on the field, just, roughing the quarterback. Everything spirals up, and it just keeps adding up to where the Eagles constantly stab themselves in the foot, especially when they're in the red zone and they have chances to put some scores on the board. And, just another situation, illegal men on the field, and then you get this weird thing that goes on where a field goal is supposed to happen, but then something else happens. It turns into a play. You got a touchdown, then it gets taken back because of pass interference, and then you got to kick the field goal once again. It's just weird things that keep happening. And you get another situation where it's Devontae Smith this time, where he runs out of bounds, then runs back into the play, catches the ball for a touchdown, gets taken back because, he stepped out of bounds before the entire thing. And it's just weird. It's just absolutely weird, in my honest opinion. And the fouls in this game, just way too many. The Eagles took 9 penalties in this game. They lost 49 yards because of that, or they gave up 49 yards because of those fouls. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how many penalties this team, how undisciplined they are, how many mental mistakes they make. Like Derek Barnett, throw this guy into the sun. For the roughing the quarterback penalty, you got Josh Sweat on one of the key plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it was a 3rd and 6 at this point, and I believe, and he encroaches, completely false start, and it turns into a 3rd and 1, which they convert for an easy first down. It's those mental mistakes like that in crucial stances of the game where they continue to stab themselves in the foot. And you could definitely tell from this entire game, Nick Sirianni was not happy. He is getting mad and he is getting furious with the mental mistakes of this team. Said it in his press conference. He's not happy that they're 1-3, and he's getting tired of the mental mistakes that this team is making. He's tired of all the fouls they're taking. And you could see it during one of those plays, too, during the game. It was that situation where they set up for a field goal, and then they were able to go for it on 4th down because of a foul on the Chiefs, I believe. It was a confusing play. And then you eventually get the touchdown with Dallas Goedert. It gets taken away because of a pass interference on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And then it's a weird situation again. Then you have to kick the field goal. And then you could definitely tell on the sideline, he's furious. He's telling the ref to come over here. He's saying, I got to talk to you. And he just throws his headset down. He's completely pissed. He says, you got to be kidding me, from the most that I can read from his lips. Like, the man is furious. And some of that definitely could be his fault as well, because some of the plays that he's drawing up and just the inexperience of being a rookie head coach, I guess these things are going to happen, but just to this extent, man, my goodness. My goodness, all the fouls that this team takes and all the mental mistakes that they make. I just can't describe it enough. It's just weird. And then when you see these plays that not in garbage, well, technically in garbage time for the Chiefs because they're up by so much. You got plays by Mahomes to Tyreek Hill, like they do it constantly. It's basically bread and butter at this point. It's just like, man, I wish this team can do this when the time matters for them, I guess. But I guess it is what it is. I don't know how to describe it because it's frustrating. It's confusing. It's mind-boggling. I know there's a lot of people that have some problems with some of the fouls in this game, especially like on the ones to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, but there was also, could some people say it was a makeup call because during one of the Eagles' touchdown drives, there was a fumble. I believe it was Quez Watkins, if I'm not mistaken. Quez Watkins, I believe it was, where he got knocked down, and eventually the ball did come loose, and they originally just called it he was down by contact. The fumble doesn't count, so it was a first down for the Eagles at that spot of the field. And eventually a replay showed later that the refs completely botched that call because the ball came out before he was down. So that was a missed opportunity for the Chiefs to get a fumble return in their favor, and the refs missed that. So, maybe there's some makeup calls going down the line. It's just a weird game in general. And for the Eagles stat-wise, like for guys like Jalen Hurts, he definitely had a much better game than what happened. I would say this game is definitely much better than it was in Dallas, but if you look at the Eagles' stats for the past 2 weeks, defensive-wise, they have given up 83 points in total and over 850 yards these past 2 weeks against the Chiefs today and the Dallas Cowboys last Monday night. So there has definitely been a clear issue on defense. Of course, injuries don't help, and especially on the offensive side, your one main guy is in the lineup, and that's Jason Kelce, because Lane Johnson had to be scratched for a personal reason, so you're not starting your full people. And, Andre Dillard, his inexperience, he's still getting fouls called on him, especially during this game when you had a chance to get a touchdown. He was a illegal formation, illegal man on the field, so that got taken away. So there's a lot of mistakes, but Jalen Hurts definitely had a much better game. There were still definitely some mistakes that he has to fix, because, there's sometimes where he's forcing passes when they're not there. He missed a couple of throws, especially a wide open Zach Ertz, and then especially on Greg Ward for one of those red zone plays. I don't know how to judge the Greg Ward option apparently, because I feel like it's a little bit of both, because I feel like Greg Ward, it went into his hands, so if it goes off your hands, you have an opportunity to catch it. But yeah, definitely the throw could have been a little bit better by Jalen Hurts, so I think it's a little bit of both there, but there's still definitely a lot of things Jalen Hurts has to do better, but he did have a much better game. Basically anything at this point would have been better than what happened against the Dallas Cowboys last week. So he went 32 out of 48 today, 387 yards in total, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked 3 times, and he has a quarterback rating of 105.1. The rush, the run, still not utilized enough. Miles Sanders, he had more touches than he had against the Cowboys, but he only had 7 today, 13 yards in total. Jalen Hurts had more of the touches on the run. He had 47 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, he had 3 touches, 31 yards, 1 touchdown, and Jalen Reagor had 1 play as well on the rush. And for receivers in this game, Devontae Smith, he had himself a nice game, 7 receptions. It's probably one of his better games of the season, 7 receptions, 122 yards, and his longest was 37 especially, even though during the later stages of the game where he did step out of bounds for that touchdown that was taken away. So that's just something you got to learn. You got to learn to adjust. Because this is the second time that it's happened in the past 2 weeks. So something needs to be shown to this team to, not do that. Don't step out of bounds, even though he was getting forced, but the penalty was called on him because he was grabbing the shirt of the defender that was on him, which allowed him to get back in bounds. But I know you could also make the argument that he was getting pushed out of bounds. So there's a lot of things. The refereeing in this game definitely was very questionable on both sides, so there's a lot to discuss there. Zach Ertz, he had himself a nice game, 6 receptions, 60 yards. Even though he did have one of those touchdowns taken away, he also had a good chance to, get some points early when he was wide open, but Jalen Hurts missed the throw. Kenneth Gainwell, he had himself a nice game, 6 receptions, 58 yards. Dallas Goedert made some big catches, especially on that first touchdown drive. I don't know how he caught this ball, but he managed to reel it in. So there you go. I'm fine with it. He made an amazing catch. It was a great drive, and it ended with that amazing catch. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Dallas Goedert. And yeah, I just don't know, because looking at some of the plays in this game, because looking at all of them in general, there was no punting in this game for the Chiefs. Every drive but one resulted in a touchdown, and the only drive that wasn't a touchdown was an interception at the start of the second half for the Eagles. So, yeah, the Chiefs really decimated the defense today, even though there were a lot of drives, especially third downs, that, the Eagles kind of stabbed themselves in the foot because of taking penalties. So that's also one of the reasons there. But some of these plays that stand out, especially on the Eagles' offensive side, just for plays that got taken away because of, mistakes. So this one is the second field goal of the game that made it 14-10. There was just, it's weird because there was an interception during this drive, but then it was ruled the ball hit the ground, so the ball did not count as an interception. So this is one of those weird plays. It starts off, okay, you got going to Dallas Goedert for the touchdown. He runs it in. Okay, you got the touchdown. Eagles are on the board. But then the flag comes in, illegal illegal formation because it was, I think it was on Andre Dillard, ineligible downfield pass or something like that. I think that's what it was called. Ineligible fielder downfield, which was Andre Dillard, so that got taken away. And then that was the play right after the following play right after the flag was the Greg Ward miss, which he was wide open in the end zone and he just dropped it. So those are some of those plays that you just need to find a way to make through, and he got the field goal out of it, but still you need to find a way to make those plays happen. So then you go into the response after the interception at the start of the second half. And this is that weird sequence where you start off by kicking the field goal, and then you eventually go for the touchdown, and then it gets called back again because of a penalty. It was just a really weird sequence. I have no idea why, because you get the field goal, and then the Chiefs get called for offside. So that moves the ball up a little bit to the 6, I believe. And then so he throws a pass to Zach Ertz. He gets in for the touchdown. Okay, we got to score because the Chiefs made a mistake. We took advantage of that. Wrong, the flag's thrown on the field because J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is called for passer interference. Then the ball gets moved back. Then you have to go for the field goal. It's just those mistakes during this entire game, and especially during one of these plays I think this was the fourth quarter, I believe. And this was the play with Devontae Smith where he stepped out of bounds. It went for the touchdown. It got taken back, and then you can't do anything the resulting after that play. And this was a sequence, too, for Devontae Smith where he made some nice catches. Sadly, he just wasn't able to, sadly, he stepped out of bounds during that time. It's just mind-boggling, this team, with the penalties that they take. I don't know why. The more I look, it's just like you get the Josh Sweat penalty on that 3rd and 6. You get the Derek Barnett, just the roughing the quarterback. I know a lot of people want to question that play. Maybe he was pushed into the quarterback or something like that, but still, he took the penalty. It was called on the field. Regardless of what you want to play, Eagles, they got away with some calls too, especially that fumble, but it's just not good. It's just not good. So they need to find a way to shake this up because they play the Carolina Panthers next week. And the Carolina Panthers, I think they're one of the better defensive teams in the league. So if you're having trouble scoring in the red zone with this team, even though you scored 30 points in this game, 30 points should be enough for you to win a game, but your defense doesn't help you. And especially penalties don't help you as well. And then you have, I believe it's Carolina next week, and then you have a Thursday night game against the Buccaneers. So you got 2 tough matches upcoming this week. Do I expect the Eagles to beat any of those teams? No. I do not expect the Eagles to beat those teams at all. Just because of the way they're playing right now. Yeah, you got the Panthers next week. You got the Buccaneers on the Thursday night, which is October 14th. And then you go to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, who are currently 3-0 right now. And yeah, it's just going to be a tough schedule upcoming, especially your next 3 matchups. 3 good teams, Panthers, Buccaneers, Raiders. And then maybe you get a wash-up game with the Lions, but who knows? And you get the Chargers, you get the Broncos, Saints, Giants, Jets, Washington before your bye week. So you just got to find a way to wash up these mistakes. And I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, but they just got to be better. I just don't know how to explain this because it's so mind-boggling how many goddamn penalties this goddamn team takes. It's ridiculous at this point. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it off, everyone. What are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on all the penalties this goddamn team took? All the touchdowns that were taken away? Just the sloppiness of this game. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, do not forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. The links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod merch website, and also the Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that stuff is now in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you could do is hit that subscribe button. I'll greatly appreciate that. Let's grow the channel together, everyone. So I will see you next time.